This is Justin AMZN on Tuesday, July 10th, 2018, with a look at the pre-market that's slowly pulling back a little bit here. A lot of bearish candles up here, people selling. Then you get a little bit of a rally here right before the market opens. The last 2 days, we've had a bearish candle opening. My guess is we may have that again. We are right at the pre-market. We're right at previous day's close. So it's not really much of a gap at all. I mean, it really just depends on where the price actually opens. We're right here. We're a few cents higher, but it could open, I mean, anywhere in here. And then look for a bearish candle to come in. And like both the last 2 days, if you had just bought the low, the stop down a little below it, bought the low, whatever that low turned out to be, with a stop a few dollars below it, that would have worked. So we'll see if we get a low in here down by our line. We were a little above our line yesterday. So if we can come into 1730, that'd be a little bit away from the line, just like we saw yesterday, if it pulls back. So we get into the day, and we actually do get a bit of a pullback. Gap down slightly to open. I don't know if it actually went up, then down, then back up, or down, up, down. I don't know. My guess is up, then down, then up. I didn't look at the 1 minute to see what it was doing. But massive volume at the open. Really, really large bearish candle. But, I was looking at 1730. But this price at 1731 is actually right in here at yesterday's high, intraday high, and then right in here where it was, starting to break out. And so this really looks like a retest of this kind of a breakout from this high, and just wicks down into that same space. People who were buying in here yesterday and got out at the close may be buying again down here, looking for the same kind of move. Totally possible. Another 5 minutes, and we have an inside candle, still inside of that large opening candle, but we're seeing some rally right off the bat. So we had a single 5 minute candle selling. The last 2 days we had actually, let's see, that's the open, and that's the next one. So we had 10 minutes of selling. This one we actually did only have 5 minutes selling and then a rally. This looks really similar. Where it actually moves up higher, kind of consolidates. We're seeing this move up higher. It's starting to consolidate. We'll see if it goes a little ways sideways. Yep, doing something really similar. Well, this is actually making a little bit of higher high right here, which is what this did above this wick. So we're just we're looking for this to do the same kind of thing. We've got the 5 exponential right underneath us. But we are a little further away today than we were from 2 days ago to our next resistance line. So, this seems like a no-brainer if we get here, just like today, or on Friday, 2 days ago, trading days ago. He consolidated some more and then broke out and then retested slightly and then hit the line eventually. This looks like, okay, it's going to get here, no question about it. So we'll just see. Okay, it's the very next candle. I didn't realize it was going to be the very next candle. Anyway, we're through that line. We got through the line slightly here, then retested. Got through the line a little bit here, then retested. Once we get up here, maybe we go up a little bit higher, but I would expect it to retest. It would be great to see this retest into the pre-market high and the open high around 1743, or come back to, if we really came back to 1731 again. That'd be a great place to buy, or possibly back down to 1727 and see what that can do. But anyway, that's if this resistance holds and it does roll back down. Oops, I hit the wrong button. Sorry, ignore that. There you go. It broke out. It retested. Okay, we're still hanging out up here. Okay, it looks like it's pulling back a little bit. Okay, there we go. So this is a double top. This is breakdown. It's not holding this level. Right now we're retesting to this high. That's what we wanted to see, the pre-market high. We could retest this sort of neckline here around the same resistance and then roll down. So we'll just have to watch and see. There's a little bit of retest. Yep, there you go. Okay, retest the neckline with an inverted hammer. You could get in either on this candle, since that was our setup, with a stop up here, or at a minimum a stop here. That'd be really aggressive back down to probably maybe this low here for part of the position, and then back down to either this bearish candle or this one for a little more of a gain. In this case, it actually goes up, has a bullish engulfing, and you may have been stopped out if you had their aggressive stop, but you're still in if your stop's up here. You're just down in the position, and it's just going sideways. So this consolidation looks a little bit more like this consolidation here. Just, you know, it's holding right under the line, right here. And we'll see if it actually gets going lower. Looks like it's just kind of stair-stepping this whole stretch through here. And right now we're at about noon Central. And so, you know, there's traders who are getting back from lunch probably. Maybe they're going to look at this and say, that doesn't look so strong anymore, right under this resistance. So if it gets above it, then it's no brainer. Just go bullish on that. And it's been so bullish that it should continue. There we go. There's the breakdown. You took out all these lows. You're retesting with this candle. This is the candle getting in on at this high, or just a retest into this value here and a stop up here. If you want, you can get the stop up in that wick, but it's not necessary since we put in so much time going sideways that it should be able to stay on its own. So got the squeeze forming, and we'll see if that actually breaks. Yep, there we go. It just broke on that candle, and we're just making some lower lows and lower highs in these candles. Breakdown again. There we go. So it came down to this level, came down to this level pretty quickly. Now we're right at this low, this bearish low. So that would have been, I think, for part of the position. I think we said exit some here, then exit some here, and we'll see if it what it does. So it actually continues lower. We're not quite to the low on the day, but we're into the same area or almost the same area that we had gotten up to during the day yesterday. So we'll see if we can pull back a little more. Nope, there's a rally, and looks like it's rallying. Okay, it's continuing. You know, pretty strong. This looks like a V bottom. Doesn't quite make it back up here. And the only thing I would say that is, well, you know, we have resistance here, just not drawn in. We just have, you know, some selling that came in, but we just went sideways, and then this selling actually pushed it lower. So, you know, this two candle pendant here, you can look at that as, okay, it should stay, you know, relatively below that if it's going to roll over. This may be enough of a retest of that value, where this was breaking down. And these are some really small candles to say, okay, you know, we got really like a $2.50 risk, excuse me, risk on this thing rolling over. We'll see what it does. So there we go, start to roll over. And that's the end of the day. I didn't even notice that was coming to the end of the day. So after hours, while we're still in the 5-minute after hours, we are pulling back a little bit more here. This looks like a much larger consolidation here or distribution at this level. But there's definitely a downtrend angle here saying, hey, you know, this is kind of starting to flag on the day. But then, you know, what'll happen tomorrow? We'll gap up, we'll gap even to previous day. You know, what's going to happen to make this thing move some more? So, if we take a look back at some of the prices, could have bought on the low here. You would have probably had to have that set up, or just know that level really well. To buy here from this low up to this line probably. And then as it's doing this, you can get in bearish on one of these bearish candles with a stop up above the line. And that would have worked. Counter trend, so you want to be quick about it, but it did come down. Let's go to the lowest close on the day on the 5-minute. So you could exit at that closing price. Now I had pointed out the low, you wouldn't have made it there. So you would have been trailing your stop, probably would have gained something, just not as much. But had you brought it back down to you know, this bearish close, and that's your target, well, there you go, you're out. And then that makes sense that we retested this rally, you know, these candles into the close, you know, needed to retest, and we did that not just once but twice today. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. with any of these rallies coming off of that level. So that level that I just pointed out is inside of these support and resistance. The one going through here, but it could be flexible. We've seen a lot of these work, but we've not drawn in a lot of them recently just because of just having too many lines. Really just having too many lines in this. So anyway, if we take a look over at the calls, this is what I accidentally clicked over to. Remember that line? So I redrew this. Remember this line we saw yesterday touching these lows? Well, it touches the low again here, and I had to finagle this to get it quite right. You may or may not have been right on with that kind of setup, but the line, this trend line looks pretty good for the options. It's just a bizarre thing to have a look at. So could have bought off that line yesterday, would have just continued rallying, then sold off into the close, and then this wouldn't have gotten there. So we'll skip that and then come over here, and this would have been up a couple of R, which is phenomenal. To have a trend line on a 5-minute option chart. We can also see as this is sort of consolidating here, we have an uptrend here and downtrend here. If you had bought the low, there wasn't much signal in the option to buy, this area and just ride that up. What we really had to go on was the location here. The location of the low in relationship to yesterday's intraday high and knowing what that option value was from the previous day. So it's something that can be looked up, it can be charted, it can just come to you by memory. So if you're paying attention and watching this stuff so much. So anyway, that's a couple opportunities. We also have the bearish move here, so we'll look at the puts, and it happened somewhere around lunchtime and then continued on up. So this is the 1700 put that expires this week, and just a really small move with the options, but I mean, you probably weren't a full R, or maybe you used something adjusted or whatever it was to get into more, and that would have been a great trade. So if we look a little bit closer at the 1725, we'll just see the prices being a little bit higher, but the concept still applies. So so you could have gotten a ticket for $4 by $3, and that would have been a great place to get in for that to just continue on up. These candles were 11:30, 11:40. So let's see, 11:30. So this is really right before this massive rollover. So you could have been positioning yourself to get in with puts somewhere in here, and just allow yourself some room for it to move, and to don't close it too early. So let's see, I think I want to get rid of that because probably won't be looking at that for too much longer since it expires this week. But anyway, if there's any questions on this, let me know in the comments, and hope this is making sense and you're seeing how this is moving around and what we can do with the options to capture some of those moves. So hope you enjoyed the video. This is Justin AMZN. Thanks.